Hey everybody, Tom Barnes, stories from the 78. Big weekend in Chicago. You got the Bears, the Cubs are in town, and music festivals galore, including first of its kind Evanston Folk Festival right on the lakefront in Evanston. First time they've ever had a festival on the lake. It's put on by the folks at Space. And if you know anything about Space in Evanston, the folks there know what they're doing when it comes to music. I'm talking to my friend Jake, who is the director of music of 16 on Center and Space. How you doing, Jake?
Doing great, Tom. Thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely. So you are the director of music for 16 on Center, Space, and you happen to be at Salt Shed today as we're talking about this, which is another spot that people know and love in the Chicago area for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I get to spend my days kind of working on the music operations and booking for 16 on Center, Salt Shed, Thalia Hall, Empty Bottles, Space, Promontory. But I do live in Evanston, so I have a real affinity for these events that we get to do up there.
Yeah, and speaking of the event up there, it's the first of its kind really up on the lakefront at, what is it, Dawes Park, right on the lakefront there in Evanston?
Exactly. Yeah, I don't think there's been an event quite like this before. We'll have three stages of music running all day long on Saturday and Sunday, and a conversation tent where we'll be hosting sort of interesting topical conversations and interviews with musicians, authors, folks who have something to say on the matter.
Yeah, and you've been doing this for how long? Like in general in the
I
music business?
started at Space in 2008, so going on 16 years.
So you know a thing or two about music, and I'm sure you've been to plenty of festivals over the years where you're like, I wish it was a different experience. So, to have something like this at a cozy environment up in Evanston for the folk festival that you have going on this weekend, which is Saturday and Sunday. Did I get those dates right?
You did, yeah.
Yeah. So I imagine just what you were talking about, having like a tent where people can talk to artists and experience the festival thing in a different way. I imagine that's something that you took into great consideration.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's no shortage of things to do outside in Chicago in the summertime. Uh, we put on our own festivals, and Salt Shed certainly has outdoor fairground space where we do outdoor shows all summer. They tend to be bigger shows, bigger productions. We do rock, we do hip hop, we do a little bit of everything. It felt like there was maybe a hole where people who are fans of sort of more maybe introspective singer-songwriter type music could come together outside. Folk music is such a huge umbrella term that I think touches on a lot of other genres. So
Hmm.
this is a real opportunity to sort of show a different side of music that doesn't necessarily fit into sort of the larger festival model that we're so lucky to have so many of around Chicago and the suburbs.
Yeah, I mean, it's a total intimate setting there in that park, which in itself is just different what you're talking about when you hear about the bigger festivals that happen in this city where it takes up Grant Park or just even any kind of festival that's like not at a spot that usually has festivals, like Salt Shed's meant for the music now in the things that you've done there. But when you're at a park, it's just this vast huge space where it could be overwhelming to people to have it in a little bit of a small like Union Park and kind of pitchforky, you
Yeah,
have that vibe there. But this is super unique because it's right on the lakefront and the weather is going to be spectacular this weekend. So I mean, you kind of have all the things going for you this weekend, and this is the first one that you guys have done. So is there a little jitter with it being the first one?
absolutely. Lots of nervousness, but mostly
Sorry.
excitement. It's always difficult to do it the first time, but really since we announced this back in the spring, it's been nothing but a warm reception since. So it does seem like we've struck a chord, no pun intended, and found some people who are really excited about this concept. Space has been doing this music for 16, 17 years now.
Yeah.
So the artists, it really feels like old home week. Like everyone's kind of coming back to Evanston. We're gonna do something really big together, and so there's a real excitement about it. And to whatever extent an outdoor festival could, we're going to try to recreate what makes space so special. People who show up really for the music, to listen, to enjoy, to be together, and to have that lakefront and a beautiful fall weekend as a backdrop. It's like kind of hard to beat, you know.
Yeah, and you talk about Evanston, the town, city right there on the lakefront, just north of Chicago. It's its own little enclave. I've been up there many times over the years. It's such a cool vibe there. They have an old school record store there that's been around forever, where certain actors that are in the movie lore, have hung out that are from that area. So a lot of musical history in Evanston and just history in general. So, and space has been a part of that, like you said, for the last few years here, where it's really has a reputation. I remember booking bands on WGN on the midday show when there was this new thing called space that was pumping out these artists. And to see it today ahead of the weekend with this festival is pretty special, I imagine, for you. It's very cool to see how the music industry has changed over the years, and what you've done at 16 on Center with the music industry in general and all the other venues you guys have is pretty amazing. Like, Chicago owes you a debt of gratitude, I think, for making our music scene that much more special.
That's really kind of you to say. I mean, it is a dream job to get to be a part of it, and I don't think there's anywhere else but Chicago where we can do what we do and take these crazy ideas and people show up and enjoy them. It's pretty fulfilling.
Yeah, I bet. And I also bet, just because now there's so many, and you were just speaking of all the venues you have, do you ever have the days where you're like, what am I booking for this, for 2025 in December? Like, I don't know. We've done this. Like, is it a constant, like, well, what's new? What do we got that we haven't seen? Like, what should we be doing?
Yeah. Yeah, sure. I mean, it's always a little bit of a blank slate at the end of one festival season and looking ahead to sort of what we're going to do the following year. We're really lucky. We've got such a vast pipeline at this point between Space and Empty Bottle and Thalia Hall. For us, the most exciting part is to sort of take those artists from those really small rooms and grow with them. And this festival is a great example of that. We have Sierra Ferrell headlining on Saturday night. She played Space not a couple of years ago, played Thalia Hall last year. Is now opening for Zach Bryan and on these large arena and stadium tours. And so to have her come back to Evanston, where it kind of started for her, and headline this festival is amazing. Katie Gavin's another one. She's from the area, from the North Shore. Started as a high schooler playing solo acoustic singer-songwriter sets, opening for other acts at Space. Her band Muna is out, open for Taylor Swift at Soldier Field last summer. Like one of the hugest.
I mean, you can't get much bigger
pop
than that,
and rock
right?
bands. Yeah. And now she's taken a little bit of a pause and has written basically a folk music songwriter record, played Newport folk music, and is now going to come back to her hometown and play this festival solo acoustic after playing the biggest stage in the world. So lots of stories like that. It just makes this so fun and interesting. And I think folk music, especially, people can have an idea in their head of what that means, but we're trying to sort of turn that upside down and bring all different kinds of aspects of that sort of term to the stage.
Yeah, and what better way to do that in a festival setting like that, where you have tents available for people to talk with artists, and hear what they have to say, hear where they're from, hear where in Chicago they might be from, if they are from here. Just a very unique aspect. So I'm very excited about it. It's this weekend, Saturday, Sunday. What are the times and how can people get tickets?
Absolutely. So the festival runs from 11:30 a.m. to 8:30 p.m., kind of on the early side, super family friendly. Kids under 12 are always free. We'll have tickets available at the gate or online at evanstonfolkfestival.com. In addition to the festival, we have some evening shows that are happening around town at Space and Kahn Auditorium on the campus of Northwestern University with Rufus Wainwright and Steve Earle and Langhorne Slim.
Deer Tick, right?
So, yeah. For people who want to kind of keep that party going and enjoy a little bit more music, we have full day, full night of great music. Right here in Evanston.
And you have, is it 3 stages and then I think it's the WBEZ tent talks, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Awesome. And the website, real quick.
EvanstonFolkFestival.com.
Pretty simple. Jake, thank you so much for taking time to chat with me, and congratulations on getting this event to this part. And there'll be a full congratulations, I'm sure, on Sunday night, where you'll be celebrating either quietly or loudly, depending on how you do your thing. But either way, it's great that you guys do the music the way you do in Chicago. And as somebody who's a fan of our music scene, I mean, it is really great to see, because like you said, you go to other cities and it's not like here. And growing up here, you kind of get the mentality that you think everywhere is like here, and it's not. It just really isn't.
It's not. Well said.
So
I appreciate it.
Thank you
Tom.
very much,
See you out there. Tom, great talking to you. Thanks so much. Hope I see you out on the lakefront this weekend.
Absolutely. Can't wait. We'll see you later.